She's back. She's back. And the studio is transformed. For those of you who are, have been here, y'all know the studio been transformed. Over the holidays, we switched that up. But for you that are new, welcome. This is Dani Tiesating. Today's video, we are doing a 2024 year in review where we are looking at all my wins last year, 2024, all the flops. If you are nosy, or if you just really want to know and have a better understanding of what it takes to start and run a small creative business, maybe you've started already yourself and you just want to kind of compare. This video is for you. Take a seat. I am going to be sharing some hard data, including, how some of my income sources fare. So for example, I have my website, I have my Etsy, I had markets as well. We're gonna be looking at my content strategy. We're gonna be looking at products that I launched. We're gonna be talking about some of the biggest lessons that I learned along the way. And then I'm also gonna spill the tea about 2025. Where are we going? Where am I bringing sophupshop? So take a seat, let's go. For those of you who don't know, I am the owner, artist, founder behind a shop called sophupshop. And essentially it is a stationery / novelty gift store that sells things like iron-on patches, stickers, crock jars, teas, totes, air fresheners, mugs. Like there's a whole gamut of things that fall under that umbrella. And the idea is that all of these products that we do are whimsical, they're creative, and they're really steeped in Caribbean culture. That's where my parents are from. They're from Jamaica. And so they really take on that lens from a lot of the wording, the text that you see, but also the imagery as well. So that's what I do. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at my notes on my trusty MacBook. So the first thing is markets. How many markets did I do? How did I do with these markets? I did a total of 10 markets last year, and I would say 5 of which were a bust, and then 5 of them were pretty successful. I'm defining success as the markets where I made back the cost of the table, plus the cost of transportation, plus an hourly rate based on the number of hours that I had been there. And I think that bar for success is actually quite low, but keep in mind, this was my first full year of doing markets. So I needed to gather some baseline information to try to understand whether the markets that I had selected had my target audience and sort of what was the total experience of it. Because even the markets where maybe financially were a bust, were they successful in other ways? Maybe in terms of different connections that I made throughout that market. Maybe in terms of like growing my email marketing list. At some point I started to really step my game up and actively promote my marketing list. Maybe it resulted into more subscribers and followers on my social media. So there's different ways in which some of them could have been beneficial and successful, but that said, really, I'm talking about the money. I'm talking about the money in this case. So yeah, I would say 5 were a bust, 5 were good. This year, I definitely plan to learn from the mistakes that I made last year. This year, I'm going to be a lot more selective about the markets that I'm doing. But that said, I'm still going to be trying a few other markets. So I think there's still going to be new data that I'm collecting about it. So for example, there's a stationery show I would love to take part in. I don't necessarily think all my products fit into that stationery category, so I don't even know if I will get accepted, but I'm manifesting right now that it's gonna happen for me. And when I look at the space of the vendors, I don't think there are any Black vendors there. I don't know. So I'm really curious to see if I can get in, and if I do get in, what is the audience like and how receptive are they to my stuff? We'll see. But I'm really interested in this stationery lens for my shop, sophupshop. Okay, so next, percentage of sales breakdown. Okay, now, so I'm not gonna give you my numbers. I'm not gonna give you my numbers, but I'm gonna give you percentages, okay? So I started off on Etsy. In fact, if you look at a lot of my videos from the onset, they were all like, oh, this is what I made on Etsy the first month. You know, it was sort of like that, really trying to grow my Etsy. So the first year it was strictly that. And then last year was the first year that I had a .com. Basically, the breakdown looks to be only 7% of my target audience was shopping through my .com. 16.5% came from my Etsy, and 76.5% came from my markets. Okay, what's interesting to me about that? To me, it feels like there is an opportunity there. There's an opportunity there because it feels like when people are interfacing with me, they're talking with me, or they see the product directly, they're inclined to make those purchases. I need to do more work to make sure I'm bringing people to my .com, because in reality, that's what I would love. I would love to primarily exist through my .com, eventually eliminating my Etsy, and then doing, markets here and there. That would be the goal. What I will also say is that I do feel like through using social media, I did get a lot of eyes on the brand. However, I didn't have the link in bio for a while. And if you did a Google search for sophupshop, you would find my Etsy. So I do feel like some of the traffic that maybe was being generated through social media was then going to Etsy. I think also there's an aspect of like trust. Like, people are familiar with Etsy, so they know that they can go through this channel and feel like safe and secure. That they have a certain like level of like buyer protection through Etsy. So perhaps I surmise that that might have been also one of the reasons why people might opt to go through my Etsy versus through my .com. Also on Etsy, there's reviews, there's ratings. You can literally see pictures of like people who had received some of their goods and like what they're saying about the shop. So all of this to say that maybe that was what the preference was from Etsy versus my shop, but I'm really trying to incentivize people going to my .com. So I want the prices to be cheaper on my .com, and obviously because Etsy charges all these extra fees, so I can't afford to make it cheaper on my .com. If you remember some of my previous videos, I am working to switch my current Square.com to a Shopify, so that hopefully it will be more efficient. Maybe it will move faster. I'm hoping that I will also have a few better options in terms of visually how everything is sort of laid out. So I'm trying to focus on the user experience and make my .com as like easy peasy, least amount of clicks, but great visually possible. So I'm working on it. Okay, now, so in terms of content, so the difficulty that I had was that I had danitriesating, and then I had sophupshop. And so danitriesating for me was more like behind the scenes. You literally see, it's like me crusty-eyed working and packaging and making and whatever. And then sophupshop is like, the final product. It's all pretty. It looks so cute. So that was the difference for me. But both on YouTube, TikTok, and IG, I think I have both names, and it was a little bit overwhelming trying to figure out how to post so much content. But thankfully with IG, for example, you can use the collaborate feature. So I could post one reel, but then collaborate, and then it carries on both accounts. Perfect. So on YouTube, under this danitriesating, I posted 21 long form YouTube videos, 21 for last year. And I started off with posting those Etsy stats video because again, Etsy was my focus. I was trying to figure out how to sort of do it like that. And then I went on to posting bi-weekly small business vlogs. I don't have the number for January 1st of last year, but by June I was at 567 subscribers. And then by the end of the year, I'm at 900. So it's slowly but surely. By the way, if you're not subscribing, that was the perfect time for you to hit that subscribe button. Like, subscribe, comment, engage. I promise you, it means the world to me. It really does. And it really helps, YouTube, recommend my channel to other people who are like me. And I'm really trying to find a community. When I tell you I'm trying to find a community, I really am. I only posted one YouTube shorts because I wasn't even messing with those bad boys. Like, I was like, you know what? The issue though is because in the past when I did the shorts, I was posting a lot of paper dolls. So that's probably what you see if you click on it. And so this year I'm going to do it differently. This year I'm going to actually post some of the videos that I post on TikTok or IG that pertain to small business. I'm going to try to do more of a crossover and just recycle that content and put it multiple places and see how it performs ultimately. As long as it all sort of centers that small business perspective, I'm gonna attempt YouTube shorts this year. Wish me luck. I think I did a total of 31 IG reels for sophupshop, 38 IG reels for danitriesating. Again, because the danitriesating one was more playful. So for example, you know, on Mondays I dress up and I wear my outfit. I put in an effort, and so I was documenting that also on danitriesating. And then I did 164 TikToks. Dang, it feels a lot, but it still probably isn't even that much in the grand scheme of like 365 days in a year. I don't know, is that much? And then 13 email newsletters, which is not a lot, but I applaud myself because I don't know, I had a hard time with the email newsletters. Remembering to utilize that because people actually do read the emails and they do actually participate. So that is something that I really want to work on for next year. Okay, so that was content. This year is going to be different, more, but different. Okay, so new products that I launched. I launched 4 new sticker sheets, right? The all fruit ripe and then the drink up the sticker sheets, which were really fun. I did 4 memo pads, which I love. I think they're super cute. And then I expanded my paper doll kits. I think I included, there was 2 dolls with one with a disability, one with vitiligo. You know, I'm trying to really show and speak to the multiplicity of blackness that exists, and so I want to continue growing my paper doll kits. And I also did a whole bunch of custom paper doll kits too, which was really, really fun. Okay, so the most exciting achievements for this year was definitely winning a small business grant. Oh my gosh, the things that did for my confidence. It's like, you know, you believe in yourself, but then it's really, really great when somebody believes in you also and gives you money for your ideas. It's quite lovely. It removed a little bit of pressure. Because I felt like, oh, okay, now I have access to this money that will allow me to really invest in the business. So that was amazing. That was the Shea Moisture grant. Again, thank you to all the Shea Moisture people. I really appreciate it. And then I was also a semi-finalist for the Canada Post Small Business, it's called Tales of Triumph contest. And so they gave me $1,000 credit for that. So I've been using that for shipping. Now that they're back at work, although I do hope that they reach an agreement soon. I'm really, really happy about that. That was really helpful as well. Another exciting achievement was hitting over 1,000K at a market that I didn't expect to. Here's what I'm saying about the markets. It's that sometimes you have an idea of who your target audience is, and it very much could be so, but you might also be surprised in learning other people who also respond to your products. And that happened to me at one market where I really didn't go in thinking anything, and it ended up being one of my best markets. That was like a really, really lovely surprise. The next one is that I am a mom and I have been at home with my kids prior to them sending them off to kindergarten. And so last year, my son started kindergarten in September. And the reason that is relevant is because when you are working so much throughout the day and giving so much to the house, to the family, and then you're just sort of slaving away at nighttime for your goals, it's really, really hard. And so that moment in September 24, that marked a transition for me where finally I was going to be afforded the time to dedicate to my work. And I don't take that lightly. I really very much appreciate that. There's actually a quote that I found. Okay, let me read it. A woman must be careful not to allow over responsibility or over respectability to steal her necessary creative rests, riffs, or raptures. Okay, this quote is from Women Who Run with the Wolves by Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Art is not meant to be created in stolen moments only. And basically it's this idea surrounding like house chores. A lot of the work that happens in these domestic spaces are relegated to women. And you know, when you think of something like house cleaning, it's something that is never ending. You clean, but then you still have to clean again and you have to continue cleaning. And then if you are constantly having to do this labor, then there's never any time that is afforded to you to indulge in your creativity. And yeah, I don't know. There was something that I really connected about because it does feel like being in this domestic space, especially being at home with the kids and being responsible for so many of these things. And then also thinking about the invisible labor. It was just so nice to finally be given time, especially time to be creative. I'm so privileged. I recognize that and I appreciate that so much. So yes, for me, that was like a huge moment for me. Okay, top nerve-wracking moments this year. Oh my God, the top nerve-wracking moments this year. Definitely number one was like paying for and setting up ads for Black Friday. I felt like the expectation was so heavy that like I was going to make all these sales, hopefully, you know, I was going to invest all this money and I was going to make all these sales. And Black Friday is usually when all these businesses recoup all their, you know, it just felt really, really heavy. And I think that pressure was much. So yes. And then also launch day. Anytime you're launching a product, ooh, because I'm still learning how to do like an official launch. Last year I did a lot better. And I hope that I continue to improve my launches. But yeah, launch day is just... So 2025, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? 2025, I would love to, number one, streamline my products. Okay, because I was operating off of a print on demand model initially, and then last year I had my website and I was starting to be responsible for packaging and like shipping things myself. It's not making any sense to have part of my inventory be print on demand. So over the break, I invested in some equipment and I'm going to be having everything right here in this little tiny space. Okay, so that is definitely something. Another thing I want to work on is brand cohesion, but brand cohesion done my way. Because I know you're supposed to have this, like, you know, your font and then your colors, and then you keep those color schemes regular so that your customer recognizes you, right? You see McDonald's and you know it's McDonald's. You see Coca-Cola and you know it's Coca-Cola. So that brand recognition is so important. I'm just trying to figure out how do I do it my way. There's a reason why people tell you, you know, to pick a font, to pick your brand colors, and to ensure that when you're putting out content, it's all cohesive. Because when you think about McDonald's, there's a certain imagery and colors that come to mind. When you think of Coca-Cola, the same thing. And so when you're trying to build your business, you want to be really, really mindful and intentional about that repetition, because that repetition is going to enter your customer or people's minds, and they will come to recognize that sophupshop's colors are mostly yellow and green, for example. So I need to be really intentional and make sure I maintain that and really just like amplify that. I don't think I've been doing enough of that. I've sort of been, you know, I'm very like woo, 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 woo. Like, you know, sometimes I like this font and other times I like this font. But I would like to ensure that I'm really drilling it in on who we are. Next, we want to get some wholesale orders. I cannot wait till we get some wholesale orders. We are on Fair, although I will admit that I have sort of like dropped the ball on Fair. I haven't been uploading that much stuff. I haven't been keeping up with it. I sort of got in and then sort of it's been stale. So I would really actually like to get out there more on that platform, but then also actually reaching out to people in real life and see about getting some wholesale orders. That work I would really like to do. So map out some of the shops that I would love to see our items featured at, and really go from there. And again, pushing fair, because at least fair on an international level, other companies and shops can work with us, which would be really, really exciting. Like, I don't know, it'd be really cool. Next is partnerships. When I'm talking about partnerships, I am talking about yes, brand sponsorships would be really great for danitriesating, so y'all better holler. But I also know I only want to pitch and like do any ads for companies that I actually am going to use. Like, I don't want to just do an ad just to do an ad. I really just want to do ads with, you know, companies that I use, like Procreate, holler. Adobe would be cool. Even thinking about all the new equipment that I just got, like, it would be really cool to have more partnerships and sponsorships that way. That would be really, really fun. Also, when I'm thinking about partnerships, I'm also thinking about other small businesses. Like, I feel like that's where like a lot of really great magic happens, when you have this like sort of eagerness and this keenness and this excitement and this creativity, and then these two minds come together. I just feel like working with other small businesses is definitely something that I want to do more of this year. I would also like to start a Patreon for my paper dolls. This is sort of like, I don't know, because of course I have my paper doll templates that are very specific, but then I also, as you may know, do some paper dolls that are of influencers that are not for sale. They're literally just something creative that I do that I then subsequently gift the influencer. But I would love to actually have some sort of like monthly thing where we I don't even know what it could look like. Like, if you guys have ideas, put them down in the comment section. But basically, I'm sort of thinking where I come up with a template for the month, and then maybe we have like a sort of like virtual, I don't really know all of the functionality of Patreon. Like, can you go live on Patreon? And if you can't, maybe we go to TikTok live, and then we can all color together and put together our dolls, you know, and then like compare, see what our dolls look like in the end. And maybe I don't know. I just feel like I have a few ideas for starting a Patreon that is paper doll specific, and I can't wait to see it happen. Yeah, you know, and I think just this idea of diversifying income streams. I think as a creative, I really, really, really want to do away with the starving artist trope. And I think especially for my artists that are POCs, that are Black, you know, Indigenous, like I really, really want to see and feel and believe that you can invest in creativity, that creativity is so beautiful and useful to the world. It's so useful and it's so necessary. And so I really, really want for creativity to be at the forefront and to be also synonymous with like financial stability. You know, there's so many times where we get sort of turned off of that path because the money isn't there. And I want to figure out a way to diversify the income so that there are multiple streams, and so we can also do away with this whole scarcity mindset, and we can actually believe that so many things are possible for us and for our businesses, and that it's worth investing time in creativity in ourselves. So that is a goal for 2025. Okay, so that is it for me today. That was my 2024 year in review. Thank you so much for being here, all of you guys. I truly, truly mean it. I cannot wait to be back on here regularly now that the holidays are done. Now that the holidays are done and my kids are back at school, I cannot wait to be back here grinding it out because I have so many ideas. I can't wait to go. It's go time. Let's go 2025. Let's go. Okay, so I will see you back here in a week's time. I hope you guys are having a really, really good week. I hope you're not feeling the stress of, like, you know, the end of the year and the New Year's lists and the resolutions and, like, you know, I hope that you are just being really, really kind to yourself. You're being true to yourself, and that you're taking steps towards the things that maybe make you a little bit fearful, and that you're easy on yourself. It's okay to do things on your own time. It's okay to think things through. There is no rush. You will get to where you need to be when you need to be there. It's just important that you're taking the steps, okay? So just keep taking the steps. Anyways, heart, y'all. Again, like, subscribe, engage. So important, means a lot. Share with me what are some of your goals? Like, what are the things that you are dreaming about for your business for 2025? Okay, like, let's dream big. Let's dream big. Let's see where we land throughout this year. Okay, all right, bye guys.